Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Makeover Monday 2021, Week 30, Watch Me Viz. Today we're looking at the racial breakdown in America by state. If someone could please confirm in the chat that you can hear me okay, that would be great. Shouldn't have any problems this week. The first thing we want to do is look at the original visualization. I'm going to zoom out a bit so we can see the whole thing a bit better. Oops, maybe a bit too far. It's a pretty simple graph. It's a tile map that has a block for each state or territory, and then each block is split down by the racial profile. So there's a nice little legend going across the top, and then the percentages. Now, I think one of the things that is a bit tough about this visualization is everything's labeled, which makes it hard. But I think it communicates, it's easy for me to see each individual state if I want. It's difficult to compare across states, and it's difficult to find patterns other than a few things. So down here on kind of Virginia, this area, hopefully you can see my mouse moving over to Tennessee, you'll see there's a lot more blue, which would mean a higher black population. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, that's about it. So that's kind of the general visualization there. So the data in Tableau looks like this. So we have a column for each state. Sorry, we have a row for each state, and we have a column for each of the ethnicities. All right, now I'm going to join this to a second file because I want to make it look like, I'm going to try to replicate this original visualization a little bit. So I'm going to add a second connection, and I will put a link to this file in the notes for the video in the description. So I guess I need to find the data source first. So I believe it's called tile. Let me see here. So tile. Let's see, name matches tile. I don't remember what I called it. I think it's this one here. So October 2020. Where's that located? In OneDrive. Yeah, it's probably this one. Okay, and we can now bring that sheet in. Actually, I'm going to change it to a join first. So I'm going to double click on sheet 1 here, and I'm going to bring in that other sheet. And it looks like it joined it by state. And we can see we have the state name in the first primary data source, and we have the second state with the abbreviation in the second data source. Now this row and space, these tell us kind of where to put where each tile goes. So I'm going to rename this one as column. And I think I saw another data source I had in here. Let me just search again. Let me just search for tile again, because I thought that I saw another file. What was that? So it was called US States Tilemaps. Let me look at this one real quick. So I know some people were asking the other day, or a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so this one has the region as well. So I think maybe I'll join to this one, because maybe we want to do some filtering by region or something like that. So let me change my data source here. So let me get rid of this one. And then this one is located there. Okay, so let me just drag this one in. I think that'll work. Let's see. Okay. And again, it joined by state. It's got row and column, and then it also has the addition of region. Now I don't need state twice, so I'm going to go ahead and hide that column. Okay. So I think that's it for now. Let's see here. Eva. Eva?
Yeah.
Are you able to see if anybody's watching? Can you check? Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to sheet 1, And I have these fields called row and column. Now those aren't things I want to count, so I'm going to move those up to my dimensions area. And I'm going to put column in the column, row in the rows. And I'm going to put abbreviation on text just to see how it's laid out. Okay, so something like that. We did drop off Puerto Rico because that's not in our data source. I think what I could do, so let me open this file. I'm going to add in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Okay. So Puerto Rico, we want to have in, let's say, column 12. Shoot. So Puerto Rico, oops. So we want to have it in column 12. Let's see. So column 12, Puerto Rico, and PR, we'll keep that in the south, and then the row we want it in, let's put it down here by Florida. So let's put it 8 and 12. Okay, so I'm going to save that file. And if I just refresh this data source, hopefully I see Puerto Rico show up in here. And there we go. So now we've got Puerto Rico. Okay, so we haven't lost any fields. Okay. Hello, Jen from Newport, Rhode Island. Love Newport. Great town. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm just going to move abbreviation to detail for now. I want to see if I can. I've never tried to build a tree map in this sort of a tile map tree map. So I'm going to actually change the mark type to not polygon. That's wrong. And then make it automatic again. And I think I'm trying to remember how I do it. So I'm going to put. Let's see. So let's put that on color. I'm trying to remember how to make a tree map. Give me 1 second. That might. Let's see, so if I go over to show me here, it tells me, where's my tree map? I need to have 1 or more dimensions and 1 or 2 measures. 1 or 2, okay. So that, let's just try that. So if I let me put that in the view. And let's put measure names on color. And let's put a second one in here. Okay, so that's not working. So, okay, so I think if we're going to create the tree map, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to just, for now, I'm just going to duplicate this data source. I'm going to show you, we're going to have to prep the data a bit. So I'm going to edit this secondary data source, and I'm going to call this pivot. I'm going to highlight the columns that have my my race, and then I'm going to choose pivot. And this will be my race. And then let's use percent of population. All right, now let's see if we can make this work now. So again, if I go to show me, I hardly ever use show me, but sometimes it's useful because if I pick race and I pick percent of population, notice I can now create a tree map. So let's try that. And I'm going to put column in a column, row in the rows. And there we go. So we've recreated the tree map, which I think is a neat thing to do. Now I'm going to put, oh no, percent of population shouldn't be on color. I want to have race on color. All right, and then what we could do is we could try to match the original visualization. So I'm just going to do some screen grabbing, going back and forth. So for white, I'm going to, it's going to be this color. What's the next one? So black, I think that was like a blue. This is a bit of an arduous process, so bear with me. Hispanic is what color? Hispanic is the orange color. What else do they have here? Multiple races. That's the purple color. I think that's the purple color. Yeah. I think I chose the wrong color for black. Black should be the bluish color. And Hispanic, we got multiple races. Let's try Asian. Asian is going to be the brown color. American Indian / Alaska Native is red. Okay, there we go. And Native Hawaiian, other Pacific Islander. Native Hawaiian. Okay. I think I'm going to need to go back and escape out of that for now. I need to scroll down. And okay. So now we should get roughly the same visualization as the original. I'm going to format the worksheet and set the background color to match the background color for this one. Okay, I'm then going to hide, take that out of the tooltip, hide the header, take it out of the header, and uncheck tooltip. And then there's, it kind of is like this where it has we could fix that up. Yeah, so that's pretty close to what the original looks like. The race we don't want on text, we just want to leave it like that. I think % of population they had on text, okay, on label. And let's set the number format for that. And our numbers, what was our number format for? Let's see, it's going to be percentage to, I think it's 0 decimals. Right, so let's go back to the original, 1%, okay. So there we go. So that's how you would rebuild the original visualization in Tableau. If we were going to throw that into a dashboard, we could do something like this. Okay, dashboard format, set background. Okay, then let's format the sheet, get rid of the row and column dividers. There are no column dividers, so we're good there. Let's add a bit of padding, layout. And let's put some inner padding, maybe 20 pixels. And if I now put this in full screen, you'll see we've got the original visualization rebuilt, which I think is kind of neat. I think it's sort of neat that we can do that. They're not perfectly square, so I might just reduce the size. If I reduce it to 700, how does that look? Yeah, that's better. And then I would probably just put this up here, maybe drag it sideways. The problem is our legend doesn't quite work, so I'd have to format the legend and set the text size to be 8, and the title we can just hide. Okay, and if you drag the width, you can see some of these become. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, it is, some of them don't work very well. So what do they, in the original visualization, they call, so they just call this one Native Hawaiian. So let's edit the alias. Oops. Okay, and then, so I'm going to change this one to be Alaskan. like that. I don't like in Tableau how it can't word wrap which is a bit annoying. Okay, so something like that, and now you also get the nice highlighting feature, which works. Okay, so maybe we'll come back to that one. Another idea I had was to, so we've got our tile map. This is going back to the original data source. Let's see. Okay, so let me switch this back to entire view. And I'm going to make it, I want to try it like this. So I want that in my rows. And I'm going to try to make like a bar chart. So if I put, let's see, like that. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And let's put them all here. And the order there in the original visualization goes white, black, Hispanic, Asian. So white, black, Hispanic, Asian, multiple races. Okay. And I could put, let's see, which field is it? Measure names onto color. And we could, again, go through and assign the color palette. So measure names. I'm going to go ahead and hide the header for that on the columns. And each of the fields will have a border around it. So I'm going to get rid of the border to make it a bit more clear. And then maybe make the size bigger so they all kind of touch each other. Actually, maybe I'll put a white border on. Okay. So let's go ahead and format this view now. And let's get rid of the row dividers. And let's get rid of the column dividers. And let's see. So we also need to get rid of the grid lines. So I'm going to turn them on and back off. And I'm going to get rid of the zero lines. Just maybe I'll turn the zero lines on. Let's see. Did that do anything? But it's kind of hard to see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we can see them barely. So some of them, the amount is so small you can't see it. Why these reminders keep coming up? Okay, so let's see. I think the reason, all right, so let's edit this axis. And I'm going to fix the axis to start at maybe 0.01 and to end at the, let's just end it at 1. Okay, so now we can see where the 0 goes all the way across. What I don't like is how it's showing it for each of these lines. So let me get rid of the 0 lines. Okay, and I'm going to just put in a default measure here, average of 0. And let's synchronize. Now we want to make this a dual axis. Let's synchronize. And my measure values, I'm going to make a bar. And then on my average of 0, I'm going to get rid of the measure names. Okay, and let's change this mark type to a, what do I want to do a line? Let's make it, if we make this a bar, nope. Okay, so let's just make this, doesn't really matter, let's just make it text. No, let's make it automatic. And then we'll change the size to all the way down and set the color to, doesn't really matter, we'll just leave it like that for now. I don't know why. Oh, I'm just going to reduce the transparency. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do now, I want to get a line underneath of each one of these. That's why I'm kind of messing around now. So I'm going to put a constant line for average of 0. There we go. So now I get a nice little line under each one of them. So let's edit the reference line. Yeah. And I want to get rid of the label, get rid of the tooltip. I'm going to make it a bit thicker. Does that help me at all? Okay, that doesn't really help me, but we can fix that in a minute. Let's make it black. Maybe not quite so dark. And hit OK. All right, so what I'm going to do is I need to change my axis ever so slightly again. Let's make it, let's see, 0.05. And then 1.1. Okay, did that help at all? Oh no, it should be minus, that's why. Minus 0.01. There we go. And what if I make it? Okay, so now my lines are too thick. That's okay, I'm just doing some experimenting here. So let's format the line. Let's make it a thin line. Maybe something like that. Okay, the problem now is that it covers up some of the colors. So let me try, you notice some of them are really hard to see and they'd be impossible to hover over. So let me get rid of this for now. You can always hit undo. And I'm going to change the average of 0 to be a bar. Actually, if I make it a line, let me make it a line. And the color, let's turn the opacity back on. And let's make it maybe a darker color. And then my path, we get a path shelf on here. That's going to be measure names. And did that work for me? I don't think it did. Okay, no problem. Let's switch it back to a bar. And right, so why is that not showing up now? Maybe if I make the bar, let me make it minus 0.0. And let's synchronize. We did. Now why are these not showing up? Is that a border? Oh, none. Okay, something still isn't working right here. Right, I'm just going to undo back to where we had the line. That didn't work. Format our reference line, let's make it a thin line. And maybe a lighter color. I'm just trying to frame the visualization a bit. All right, so let's go ahead and hide the headers. Let's hide the header. Hide the header. And let's see, we need to take those out of the tooltip. Out of the tooltip. Let me check, I thought I did that already. And let's get rid of the nulls. Okay, so I need to go back to my colors again, so this is kind of a pain, but let's see. So if I go to white, maybe I'll use my own color palette. I don't find theirs too bad though, so I am going to use theirs. So black is going to be the bluish color, light blue, Hispanic is the orange color, Asian is the brownish color, multiple races is the purplish color, American Indian, Alaskan Native, Let me just scroll down for this one. It's green. And, oh, wait, that's wrong. Indian. Okay, so that's the reddish color. Right. Okay, so we get our colors there. Okay. So I'm going to kind of like the way this dashboard looks, the size and everything. So I'm going to create another dashboard. I'm going to make it 1000 by 700 this time because that worked. Seemed to work okay with the other one. I'm going to bring in a vertical container and set it to 0, 0, 1. Let's see, and I'm going to bring sheet 1 into that. Oops. I'm just going to leave this here. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that because I'm going to use something else later. And then in this sheet, I'm going to set the padding to 20. And that's the dashboard format. And I'm going to set the default shading back to that same color as the other one. Oh, why is my worksheet? I thought we formatted that already. Okay. All right, and maybe we don't need the borders around each of the bars. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go back here and I'm going to change the borders on my bars. Let's get rid of those. Get rid of no border. And now they're going to stick together probably too closely. Yes, you can see here ever so slightly they're overlapping. So sorry about my screen resolution today too. It's I'm connected to a TV I haven't used before and I can't get it to change the resolution of the screen. Usually you can see a lot more. So let's change the size to be ever so slightly. I am changing the size of the bar, right? Here we go. And how does that look? Okay. So, but now we need to somehow get the we need to get the data for, or we need to get the names of each state on here. So I think what I'm going to do is I've got the, so how many do we have? Let's see, we've got, at least we've got 7. So the fourth one over 1, 2, 3, 4. So for the state of, or sorry, for the, what field is that? That's Asian. Okay. So I want to say everywhere that it's Asian, or maybe just on this one. Let's just put abbreviation on text for now, and then let's center it. Okay, that didn't work. Let's allow overlap. Okay, so let's go back to the average of 0. And let's change it to text. And text. Why is that not working? Make these bars. And label. Maybe let's make it get bar. Why is it not putting it underneath? Oh, I don't have enough room, that's why. Okay, so let's show the header. And let's make it go from okay, so now I should be able to label. So rotate that. Why is it not rotating the labels either? Oh crap. Oh. No. So why is it not working? There we go. But the problem now is it's only doing it for the one on the end, which is so strange. Okay. Right. Okay, well this is a bit annoying. I'm trying to get it centered above these, and I don't understand why that's not working. Because it's only giving me a mark on the end here, instead of for every field. Okay, so that doesn't work. Okay, that's not going to do anything. Okay. Neutrino, you're welcome. I'm glad you find them helpful. I think I actually made a mistake, and I believe that this session was supposed to start at 4:30, not at 4. So that's why there aren't as many people watching, but that's okay. I promise it wasn't done intentionally. So the alignment has to be top. And let's see if we can do it like that. See, it's really weird that it's not letting me. I mean, I don't see. What I could do is I could mark label always show, and then on the bar I mark. Let's see, why is that not? Oh no, that's for the. Okay. Let's maybe try something else than label. Okay. Image of 0. Let's change this to, let's just move that to detail. And we don't actually even need that on detail. Okay, so if I get rid of that reference line, okay, and this bar, let's make this minus 0. I'm just going to make it, I'm just going to exaggerate it for now. Yes, I'm not getting the values there. What the heck? Okay, I'm not quite sure what's happening here. That's getting annoying. Okay, so okay, let's put the reference line, the constant line. So the problem with that is it covers up. So, okay, let's just take that off of there. Let me just edit the axis again. And let's start it at, we can now start it at 0. So minus 0.01. I think some of the bars are really small. Yeah, here we go. So you can see now some of the bars are really small, so we have to make sure that those are visible. Oops. Okay, so we got something like that. I think this, so what's annoying me here is that that I can't get the labels in there properly. I'm going to try to do it with this data set instead. So let's create a, let's duplicate this sheet. And I'm going to move percent of population to the rows and take that to detail. And I want to put my race onto the columns. Okay. And then let's go here. Let's change the formatting. Okay. That's good. So maybe it'll work this way. So I could say I want to okay. So I'm going to call this my state. I'm going to say if the race equal to, and I think it was Asian, then I want to return the state. Otherwise nothing. Okay, so let's first go in and reorder our races. So let default properties sort. And the order they were in, let's do a manual sort. And went white, and then black, and then Asian. I think it was Asian. Let's look back here. Hispanic, Asian. Okay, so Hispanic, Asian, multiple races. Okay. And then let's just clear the aliases. So to get rid of an alias, if I hit clear aliases down here, it's going to reset the alias for everything that has a star, but I only want to reset this top one, so I'm just going to clear it out and then hit enter, and that resets it as well. Okay, so now we have that. And what I want to do is I want to put my state label onto the label shelf. And, oh, that didn't work very well, did it? No, that's okay. That's not quite what I wanted to do. So I'm going to do the average of 1. And on this shelf, I want to get rid of race. Get rid of that. No, I want to say if race equals Asian, then 1. And let's rename this to state label work. And let's make this an average. Okay, and then let's make it a dual axis. And synchronize. Let's change all of the mark types to a bar. And notice how big that one is now, so let's move that to the back. Let's move this mark type to the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a circle. And now I'm going to put my race, let's see, my race onto label. Oh no, not race, I'm going to put my state label on there. Okay, and then now we can go to the label shelf. Let's set it to middle and middle. No, let's set it to above the circle. Let's get, we need to give the axis a bit more room. Let's set the size to be 7. So I need to edit my axis. And I'm going to fix it to start at 0, but I'm going to end it at maybe 1.2. Okay, so now you can see, let's end it at 1.5. Okay, so that looks okay. So let's go back to the state label and let's make it top middle. And then the color I'm going to set to nothing. I probably could actually make a text. What does it do if we make a text? Color. Okay. Ah, okay. So what I can do now is just shrink the size of the text. There we go. Okay. So still a bit cramped. So let's put it into a dashboard first. So let's go to dashboard 1, dashboard 2. Let's get rid of this sheet and let's drag in the new one. Okay, let's get rid of that for now. We can hide the headers. I want to hover over. Okay, so we need to get rid of our rows and our columns in the tooltip. And we don't want the state mark in the tooltip. Okay, so I think that's better. Okay, so what I want to do now is on the layout. Oh, I think we tiled. Okay, need to start over. Delete containers. Okay, so I need to bring in a vertical container. Let's set it to 0, 0, 100, or 700. Sorry, 1,700. I think that's the size of our dashboard, yep. And let's set the inner padding of that to be 20. Now bring our sheet in. All right, and I need to go to my layout and select that and remove from dashboard, delete containers. Okay, so now what we've done is so Puerto Rico, so this is 98%. Okay, so I need to go back to this sheet. What if I just make the sheet bigger? Dashboard bigger, let's make it 1100. Okay, so Puerto Rico is still cut off there. So I'm going to go back to my sheet again, and let's edit our axis. So I need to show the header again. And let's, I think there's an easier way to do this. Let me set this back to automatic. And then my state label mark. It'll be easier to play around with this size. So let's make this 1.25. There we go. Now we get something like that. So maybe it doesn't need to be 1.25. Maybe 1.1. And let's go back to the dashboard. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we've got that stuff. Oh no, but now it's overlapping that. So let me go back. And I don't like how New Hampshire is running right up into that. So let's set the label to be, nope, wrong spot here. label to be below. Let's make it a circle again. And let's set it to center and center. Okay. Set this to, I think I could leave it the way I had it. I just need to give the marks a bit more space. So let's edit the axis again. Sorry, this just takes a bit of formatting to get it working right. So it's fixed from 0 to, what if I just make it 0 to 2? Okay, that's not going to work. So 1.5, I think is something I used. We could still see the colors there. Okay. The alternative is to maybe try to put it underneath the, let's try something else. So let's unpin the axis, and let's change the label to be minus 0.1. So minus 0.1. And this would be a way for us to get the labels below the mark. Maybe that'll work out a bit better. So label, oops, wrong spot here. State label, alignment. Let's go bottom. Okay. Okay, so we just need to play around with the size again with this calculation. Let's make it 0.2. Okay, there we go. That's good. I think that's better. Yeah, so now let's hide that header. Okay. I'm going to try to get them ever so slightly closer to the bar. So let me go back there again. And I'm going to edit this calculation, make it 0.15. Okay, how's that now? Okay, that's better. All right, so we have that. But I want to allow the user to maybe, let's see, so let's bring in a text box. This is going to be my title. So let's just call it let's make this maybe all right, so I can now hide the title here. And I want to allow them to click let's cancel that. All right, so I want them to allow to filter by region. So let's see what happens if I add my region filter in here. And allow them to pick maybe just the West. How bad is that? Okay, that's not too bad. What does that look like in the dashboard? Okay, I can live with that. So let's go back here and let's pick them all. Okay, so that's the first thing. So I'm going to go ahead and filters my region filter. We'll move that in a minute. And then I also want to, I don't want them to filter by race, but I want them to be able to highlight the race. So I'm going to create a parameter. And this is and let's make this a string. Okay. No, I don't want to do that. Let's edit this. And we want to make a list. First value is going to be none. And then we're going to add the values from race. And hit OK. So, I'm going to now show my parameter. All right, and now I have this tiled guy here. So let's go to the vertical. Hi, Chanel. Used to be an intern at Tableau. Oh, that's great. Let's float that, and then let's float the highlighter. Now we can get rid of this tiled object. Right. All right, so we've got both of these. Let's move this out of the way. Let's move our region out of the way. And let's call this okay, and I want to make this a drop-down list. And then this, we can do something like have these next to each other. Let's center that. Okay, so what I need to do now is I have that parameter, but I want them to be able to highlight the parameter. So I'm going to create another calculated field. This will be highlighted enter. So I'm going to say race equals race light. Okay, now on this color shelf, I'm going to add that onto detail, and then onto color, but I think that's going to mess up my colors. Shoot. Okay, back to the drawing board. I'm going to delete, and I'm going to delete my parameter. And over here, I'm going to just show the highlighter. Erase. And again, Tableau added this stupid tiled object. Float that. Put containers. And let's say my right. Okay, so we have these two things. And what I'm thinking is we can either put them in the middle here, or we could stick them next to the title. So I'm going to start by putting next to the title and see how that looks. So I'm going to put in a horizontal container. I'm going to drag that into it. I'm going to drag my region into it. And I'm going to drag my highlight into it. Okay, so my highlighter, let's format the highlighter shading. Everybody notice that? These now went to the left. Like crazy annoying. So stupid. Maybe my region. Let me format this. That's my format. Format filter and set controls. And shading, let's make it white. Okay, well, that didn't work. Oh, look, they're back in the center again. Okay, so those are, let's set pin the width of that and pin the width of that. So now I can pick a race and it'll highlight it. So I just wanted to be able to choose those. And maybe what I could do then is on this sheet, the bar on the label, I could, so let's make it that direction, but I only want to show it when it's highlighted. Okay, so let's try this now. Okay, so, but it rotated the label, so let me highlight and then label. So now why the hell does it not do that? I just clicked it again and it works. It's really, really annoying. Let's make it 8 point and match the mark color. Okay, so again, let's try that now. Hispanic. We can clear that. We can highlight white. Alt races. Okay, there we go. Good. So that's working as I would hope. Let's select this container and pin the size of it. And show the caption here. Okay, and I'm going to put in my kind of footer information here. This 8 point and data source. I believe the data source was, let's go back here. The data source is Kaiser Family Foundation. Okay, just making that nice and lightly colored so we can see it there. Okay, so I think that's it. Let's see what it looks like in full screen. I wonder if we can make it just a bit more narrow. So let's set the width to that. None of my state names are too long, so I think we're okay there. Let's look at it again. Okay. And I need to now add in my legend. Now, I didn't like the way the color legend worked before, so I'm going to create a legend by putting the, let's see, I want to go to this days. Actually, I'm going to close this one so that I don't use it by accident. Okay, I want to put the race in the columns, and I'm going to put race on the text, and I'm going to put race on the color. So I'm kind of making a dummy legend. So check show header. Tooltip, let's get rid of the tooltips. And we can hide this. Format the borders. Okay, so what I can do now, this is my legend. Let's see here. Now on dashboard 2, I could put my legend on here. So I'm going to, maybe I will drag it up to here. Hide the title. And now if I format this sheet, format shading, set the shading to none. And let's set it to fit entire, oh no, sorry, fit entire view. And then let's edit the height. So edit height. Let's make it maybe 50. Okay. So we could also use this. Oh, maybe we'll just do that. Maybe we will get rid of this highlight erase. Not sure if this will work. So let's use the dashboard actions, and I want to add a highlight action. It's going to go, so highlight race. I'm going to go from the legend to sheet 2 on select. The field is race. So maybe this will be a better way to do it. Oh, that's much better. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And this sheet now, let's go back here. Let's center align the text. And we could probably add some padding on this one then. So layout, I'm going to put padding on the sides. So let's put maybe 50. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I think I like that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to delete this dashboard, and I'm going to call this my tiled bar chart. I'm going to duplicate this sheet, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that first sheet in here. This just makes it easier for me. I brought in my legends. We can get rid of that. Let's hide the title. Let's copy that here. Show caption. Okay. Now what happens here? So now it's going to highlight, and I want to, on this sheet then, I only want to show the mark labels when it's highlighted. Okay. And I wonder if I can set that one up then to allow, okay, so it doesn't allow overlap, but that's okay. So this would be our tiled tree map. All right, I better save. Let's see, Makeover Monday, 2021. Let's do week 30. Okay. I don't think OneDrive lets you save it with an apostrophe, so I'll just save it like that. So I'll publish both of these. I still need to do a bit of cleanup on the tooltips. Anybody that joined after 4:30, I apologize. I started at 4 when I actually set the live stream to start at 4:30. So my apologies there. So we can click on erase, it'll highlight it. Okay. So maybe what I should do is on my label, I should set the mark size to be 7. Maybe match the mark color. So let's see what happens now. Okay, it's still not allowing them to over. Okay, it must be something with a tree map where it doesn't let the text overlap. So you can see it down here, 45. That's all right. So now I need to go in and clean up my tooltips. So tooltip, I want to have I need to have the state on here. So let's put the state onto detail. And now let's go into our tooltip. Okay. Let's make this 14 point. Oh, that looks a bit weird. So what does this look like now? Oh, that's okay, that's good. So now we hover over, we got that. So So let me copy that tooltip. And in my tiled map, let's go to the tooltip and paste that. Okay. So state, why is that not working? Oh, we have state on detail. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that works. Let's save again just to be sure. So Jim, will I also share your tile map file with regions? Yes, I will. Not a problem at all. I'll put a link in the Jen. I'll put a link in the description for the video after it's after the video has been processed. Okay, so maybe what I'm going to do on this label, I'm going to show all. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we can get some of the labels in there. And I also lost my filter here, so I need to filters. I need to put region in the view. Region on filters, all. And let's go to our tree map and filters, region. God, I can't stand this crap. It really, really annoys me how these horizontal, and it's such a pain to do all this. Way harder than it needs to be. Okay, so we made this a single list drop down. We created it. Come on. Okay, let's fix the width of that. And what do we call it here? Region. And here. I always add 2 spaces at the beginning so that it lines up with the left edge of the box. Okay, and let's see if our highlighting works. That looks good. If we filter to a particular region, it'll filter down to just that region. So let's look at the south. Okay, so that looks good. And I think that's everything. I can't think of much else to do. So I really liked rebuilding the original. I learned something, so I think that's the most important thing. Learned how to build a tiled tree map. So I'll post both of these. I'll be curious to hear which one people like better. I'm going to suspect that it's going to be the bar chart. Let me make the bars a bit wider. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, there we go. That looks a bit better. Okay, and now I think our labels for our states are too low. So let me go here again and let's edit this and let's make it so that looks now. Okay, that's better. Now the tree map, I wonder if we can, I don't know, I'm going to try, I need to reorganize this a bit. It's driving me crazy. So we can now hide all sheets here. And on the tree map, see there's no, yeah, all that does is mess up the view. So I don't really know a way to put these state labels on, like on this one, I've got the state labels below. On this one, I can't really do it. So I'm going to just have to leave it like that. And then we're going to, yeah, so I think that's it. And thank you for joining me for Makeover Monday Watch Me Viz for week 30. And I hope you learned something, and everybody have a great weekend. Bye.